I picked up two new ones there. You used to sing one about an old maid and a burglar. The burglar. What was the name of that? The burglar. Do you remember that? No.
I remember the burglar. Do you remember the burglar? I'll tell you about a burglar boy that went to rob a house. He lifted the window and he crept in as quietly as a mouse, while looking for a place to hide himself till all the folks were asleep, thinking of all that money he would make a quiet creep. So under the bed the burglar crept, he lay up close to the wall, not knowing it was an old maid's room he wouldn't have had to call. At 9 o'clock the old maid came. "Well, I'm starved," she said, thinking that night everything was all right. She didn't look under the bed. She took out her teeth in a bum glass eye and a half off her head. That burglar had about 17 feet when he looked from under the bed. From under the bed the burglar crept. He was a total wreck, but the old maid, she was wide awake and grabbed him around the neck. She didn't scream her heart one bit, but just as cool and calm. Said, "My prayer to answer, thank God I got a man." She took her revolver and to the burglar she said, "Young man, you're gonna marry me, I'll blow off the top of your head." She held her to tight the burglar and saw there were no targets to. He looked at her deep in the big glass eye and said, "For God's sake, shoot." Now I want to tell you, as old as I am, I had never heard a song that Claude sang until Uncle Chester gave me a tape that had Uncle Claude on it here a while back. I had no idea that he was such a singer. And Dad, if he could think of it, he got another song or two if he might think of it. I want to come here to Vera Nell, and I don't know that she'd ever been a loss for words. Let's see how she is with the microphone here. You got a song for us or anything?
I don't have a song for you, but I'll tell you I can't beat Joe Fisher. So I'm talking, I don't think. I'm just glad to be here and see everybody, and glad to know that I have relatives so talented, and I mean that sincerely, and that can live to be as old as they are and still have a good time, you know, and I just hope that that's in store for all of us. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Give her a hand there. Where'd Leona go? There you are. You got back in behind there. Leona, she's Claude's daughter, so they don't tell him what song she might have to sing.
I'm not going to sing. I'm not going to sing. I'm going to tell you though something.
Tell them a story. Here, you take the mic.
This is true. This is not no story, but for several years now, the women, Fisher family get together. They call it different things. Fisher Connection. Last year it was the Fisher Bash. There was probably 20 or so people there, women. And after we left, me and Doris got to talking, and Toots was the only Fisher there. Nobody had the name Fisher but Toots, and I just thought that was kind of ironic. That, you know, I said we should have gave her a special prize because she's the only one that wound up with the Fisher name out of that whole group.
Give her a hand for that. That's quite often the way it is, and in a few years here, you may come out here to the Fisher reunion, you may have a hard time finding a person with the name Fisher on them. Well, listen, that's really all I planned for these, but I got something here. I want Chester to come back up here a minute. We'll see what's going on. As long as you think it's interesting, you can stand there and watch. Come here, Chester. Or you can sit down if you want to.
Anyway, I've got a good, real friend and boy I love him. He's a storyteller now. I'm glad he got into it. He can live a long time telling stories. But I love to read all of them. And I took some recognition treatments a while back. I pretty soon had all the nurses wanting a story in the morning when I come in. Until one morning I told them a good one. And I picked up out of a country magazine. It seemed that one evening real late in a little town, a man in a wagon come riding up to the blacksmith shop. He lived a mile or so out. And he told the blacksmith, said, "Hey, Smithy," said, "wonder if you could come out to my house about dark tonight and help me a little bit." "Why, yeah," he said, "what's up?" "Oh," he said, "when the lightning a little the other day, why, the old mule backed up and fell in the well. I need some help. I just can't get him out of there." Well, hey, wait a minute, I'll take this apron off. Well, let's go now. Well, ain't no hurry. Said this was a few days ago, and said I wouldn't be bothering you now, but said he swelled up and we can't get the bell bucket down by the side of it. Said I'd like to let me get him out. The girls didn't want no more stories. She said, we don't want no more. So there's stories all over this country.
The mule is swollen up too big. While Vernell's getting some here, you want to talk about that? What you got there? Is that the...
These are the cookbooks, the people that ordered, okay, the people that ordered cookbooks, I have them here, and so you all can come up and get them.
Loan me one of them just for a second here if you got one loose. I've got some of them ordered. I haven't seen it yet. Does anybody else here have something you want to add to this group? Dad, you want to say something else, or Claude? Just let me pull over there.
With all the fishers that I don't see but once a year, but I especially am pleased today to see Ronald Fisher from Falls Church, Virginia, which just means Washington. But this, as far as I know, is the first time he's ever seen a lot of us out here. And I know that we're all happy to see him. And I'd just like him to tell what his experience.
Right. Ronald, come on up here. Now, you stood back there behind me, and I almost forgot you, but Dad didn't forget you.
Main thing I wanted to say, I'm very happy to be here. It's really the first time I've been through here. I was in the Navy. I come through about every 10 years. But the main thing I wanted to mention was my dad, Benton Fisher, who was the oldest, who passed away at 68. And we grew up in Bemis, Tennessee, and we tried to get out here, but it was quite a few years when we would miss. But I just want to say, we have our reunion on the week of July 4th of July weekend. We sure like for people to come back there. And I just want to say there were 13 of us. There were 9 boys and 4 girls, and we've all enjoyed coming out here. And my mother is still living there in Bemis, and I know should be happy to have anyone come through. She's the same age as Uncle Claude. She's 93, lives in Bemis, where we all grew up. And Paul has been real good about coming out here. And my son Wesley's here with me today too. He's over there pitching horseshoes. Wesley's in college, and but you'd all really be happy to have you back here in Bemis on the 4th of July weekend. And I really appreciate being here. Thank you very much, Uncle Connie and Kathleen, Toots, Claude, Connie, everybody. Thank you.
Give him a big hand for getting up here in front of a motley crowd like this. Well, listen, that's all we had planned. I just want to read one of these recipes to you. And this was put in there by me, Joe Fisher. It's beef and pork tongue. Boil several tongues until they're tender enough to hang limply from a fork. Salt and pepper generously to suit taste. Serve whole on a long platter, garnished with those green things, like those green things, and sprinkle with ketchup, and have a good barf bag handy. That was my contribution. See you next year.